Hello fellas, we're going to be looking at a couple of really interesting mechanics here that are especially applicable to Inferno speedruns, although they do apply to most NPCs or all NPCs. And we're going to be looking at them side by side. So first up we have dragging during death, and dragging during death will essentially extend the animation before the death animation occurs, thus losing you time for the Inferno. This applies anywhere in the game, but it's especially relevant for speedruns. Let's have a look at it in real time, and then I'll slow it down. So let me just get to the clip a little bit here. So this tick here, the 37 XP on the left and the 5 XP on the right, this is the start of the kill it, I suppose. Let's just have a look at it in real time. On the left we drag it back, on the right we stay still. And when the wave spawns, the one on the right spawns 2 ticks earlier. Let's take a look at this again, and we're going to slow it down a little bit now. So there's the kill XP on both sides, the drag is on the left, the drag happens before the death animation can occur, then the death animation occurs. This is a problem for Inferno speedruns, especially with melee NPCs, and the best way to avoid it, if you're with a melee NPC, is to stand next to it so it can't move. And while this can happen for range NPCs, you would have to almost intentionally move away. So put simply, stand still and your problem is solved. This happens to any NPC in the game, but it's most notable for Inferno speedruns. Moving on to the next one, we have a melee death animation, which is something I didn't know about until fairly recently, and I've been incorporating it into runs since it is a big time save. So once again, let's get to the correct XP drop. And on the left hand side of the screen, we're going to be killing the melee first. On the right hand side of the screen, we're killing the nibbler first. So this is the final XP drop that kills it, and both NPCs die in in 2 ticks, I suppose, for the blowpipe on each side. So on the left, the melee dies, and on the right, the nibbler dies. And then on the next tick, melee dies, nibbler dies. What happens? Well, let's keep going. I'll play it in real time in a minute. As we can see on the left, the death animation is completed. On the right, the melee is still going, since it is stacked after the nibbler. And as we can see here again, there is a 2 tick time difference between the two. There it is. In real time, this is what it looks like. So each of these mechanics is a 2 tick time save when incorporated correctly. And while the secondary mechanic is more useful in the Inferno, since the melee is one of the only NPCs that has a different death animation timer, the obvious thing to do to correct that is to kill the melee, then kill the nibbler if it's on the pillar. You do have to balance out your pillar HP to make it work though, but it is a good 2 tick time save where applicable. But yeah, that's about it. Just those two interesting mechanics, and hopefully they help with some of your runs, or you found it interesting.